Okay, so y'all, I'm so excited to welcome Jade Hooper to this. She is a top 5 money earner in our company. She's as real can be, and that's why we love her so much. So, Jade, what you got for us, girlfriend?
Well, first of all, I saw Tina Hatcliffe. Hey, every time I'm around that woman, I cry. Every time I just look at her and I start crying. She's just amazing. So hi, Tina. Well, first of all, like, this is such a big deal because you guys, Mel to me was, and still is, like, this just magical unicorn. I think she knows that. My first conference I ever went to, I was a presidential diamond, and I sat behind Mel and Blair, and every time Mel halfway, even if she looked to the side, I was like, oh my God, are you looking for me? Because I'm behind you right here. I'm here to touch you. And it was just the most amazing thing. And Mel was so kind and just, I'm going to come be her neighbor in some sort of fashion.
Yes.
And we are going to do brunch on Sundays. And it is going to be the most fun of life.
I can't wait. In other words, guys, she's looking at moving to Tennessee.
Yes.
Yes.
Hoorah for no state income taxes. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Well, you guys, meat and potatoes. I really think that's all I am, is a meat and potatoes kind of girl, because I just don't have time for fluff. I think fluff is the stuff that society, makes us think. I think that's the fluff. I think that, we're taught growing up that we need to be a certain someone and what to do and how to think and how to feel. And what I've really come to realize over the last 5.5 years, it's almost been 6 years that I've been a part of this business, which is, you guys, this is the longest job I've ever had, which is it's just like, it's like legit, like real official, real legit. Like, this is my job. This is my career. This is my business. And what I've learned, and it's kind of crazy. And I mean, I've talked to Mel, I go to Mel a lot for like just such wisdom, because I really value that when you have someone who's been just has seen so much. And what's so amazing about people who have seen so much is they know what to lose sleep over, and they know what not to lose sleep over. And I appreciate that wisdom so much, because it's invaluable. And kind of what I've really realized at this point in my business and my career is looking back over the last, almost 6 years now, and just where my life has been. It's just, you guys, you got to start walking into the desires of your heart. You really just need to. I mean, I feel like I'm going to start like preaching and stuff like that, but I don't mean to do that. But it's
Preach, girl. You just talk.
It's true, because it's where I am. It's what I've realized the last, over time, when I look back at the things that I've accomplished and how I accomplished them, how I was able to become who I am, but yet still learn so much along the way and still be able to grow and stay humble and all these things. And right now I look at the place where I'm at, you guys, and the fact of the matter is that everything that you need to be successful is just so right in front of you. The problem is that you're just not walking into it because you're just so fearful. And I get you. How many of you guys, you can comment on the side because I can see you. How many of you guys have been through life? You are a survivor of life. You've been through death. You've been through sickness. You've been through heartbreak. You've been through hurt. You've been through hell and back again. Most of us a lot, and here we are. And you are not here by chance. You're not here by chance. You're supposed to be here. But the reason why you're where you are right now and you're not further is because you've just not walked into the desires that are on your heart. And it's because we're just so fearful. And I live that every day. I mean, we are doing such crazy things that, like, everybody that we know, they can't wrap their brains around it. Even the people who love us and know us, we think the best, they can't wrap their brains around it. They tell us, someone like you can't do that. So then we think someone like me can't do this. I'm afraid. What if this happens? What if that happens? What am I going to do? What's going to happen? We had our April kickoff Zoom last night for our team, and I'm gonna kind of say this is such like a real question, and I'm gonna like get a little aggressive with you, but I mean, for real, how many of you guys join this business because your why is a person? It's like a living human being. So I'm not talking about the dog moms. I'm talking about like a human, because that's someone that you can hold on to, right? Okay. So if I asked you right now, for whoever, you can tell me who it is. I don't care. That's fine. Your kids. Yep. For me, it was my kids too. Exactly. My husband. I start talking about my kids, and all of a sudden I go from like this like freaked out human to this like Hulk. Like, don't be talking about my kids. You know what I mean? We become like this crazy human being, this fiery like beast human being. So how many of you guys have said, this is, and I'm sorry if I'm like triggering some PTSD for you, but that's why I'm going there. How many of you guys, if there was someone standing in front of whoever it is that you love so much with a gun, you would get in front of that gun and you would take that bullet for your family? How many of you guys would do that? 1,000 times over, no questions. Okay, so me, yes, here, I'm doing it. It's done, no questions asked. Okay, so how come you guys are willing to take a bullet, but you're too chicken shit to go message somebody? You're too chicken shit to go tell someone that you think that they would be good at this. You're afraid to wake up and to make a post because you're afraid it's not going to be perfect. Why? Why? We live in fear, and fear is the only thing that is stopping us. It is stopping us every single day. Every single day, that fear is stopping us because we keep saying to ourselves, what is it that I want? I want to be successful. What does that even mean? Success is not a place. Success is not where Mel is. Success is not where Tina is. Success is not where I am. Success is an everyday state of being. It's just an everyday thing. We've been through the ringer. Mel has been through stuff. I have been through stuff. Tina has been through stuff. It is not easy. The last 3 years for me have been hell. I had a miscarriage, then I got pregnant again. I found God. And I like, for some reason, when I found God, I thought it was going to be like, just like puppy dogs and rainbows. No, dude, it was like rough. It was exhausting. It was rough. I'm like, what is this growth? Was this a bad idea? Like, what is happening to me right now? I moved into what I thought was my dream house that turned into be this like crazy nightmare that had, our basement flooded. We had mold. My family's life was in danger. You know, it took a toll on my marriage. It took a toll on just everything. And I remember looking at this saying, and then people had ups and downs with their businesses, and there was just all this stuff. And I remember going and just taking a bath because I just didn't know what else to do. And I sat in my tub and I prayed, and I was like, okay, what are you doing? Like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And I heard God just tell me, like, this is your choice. What you want to do, the desires of your heart, like how you feel and the things that you want to do, you need to walk into that. I created you to be this person. Like, you need to start walking that way, because when I say yes, it gives permission for everybody else to say yes. You know what I mean? When I start blazing the trail, and when I stop trying to link arms with my team and instead just be the head of that and blaze the trail, because that's what we're here for. You think that you saying yes is just about you, or maybe you've got 5 people on your team, maybe you've got 100, I don't care how many people. But every time that you stop, fear tells us to kind of like blend in with the crowd, be like everybody else, but you're not here to blend in with the crowd. You're here to blaze the trail. You're here to be the person in the jungle with the machete, knocking trees down, fighting things, so that way you can lead the path for everybody else. Because I said yes, 100,000 people were able to say yes. And this stuff just blows your mind, because you just don't think that can happen for you. But fear tells us to be so afraid. But I'm going to tell you something. There's just nothing in this business that can kill you. Nervousness is what you feel when you feel fear. If you back it up, what you're really feeling is nervousness. I suffer with anxiety, guys. I get you. I suffer with PTSD. I get you. I understand how crippling and crumbling that can be, and how you're just afraid to live life because of what could happen. But nervousness, you guys, you have the choice. You can decide to turn that into fear and do nothing at all, not live, right? Fear makes us selfish. It makes us only think about us. When we're fearful, we don't think about our family. We don't think about our team. We don't think about anybody else. We think about, well, what about me? Like, how does this affect me? What is this going to do? But when we are But when we are excited, you take that nervousness and you turn it into excitement. Excitement, you guys, excitement it opens doors. You got to think of it like this. I mean, how many of you guys have seen Frozen? Oh my God, this is like our movie of choice at our house, but there's a big lesson here. You guys like see Elsa and she's got these crazy magical powers, right? And she doesn't know how to control them. So her parents, AKA society, says, put on the gloves, close the gates, be afraid, fear everything that you're doing. She's not living. Kitty boobies. Hold on. Ugh. Professional, discreet breastfeeder over here. If you guys see a little bit more of me, I'm not sorry. It's not for show. It's just for food. But anyways, when you think about Frozen, they say fear. When you're fearing things, you're just thinking about yourself. And the only times I think that that I ever felt unsuccessful in my business, that state of being, was when I was just being selfish and only thinking about myself. There's an amazing woman on my team. Her name's Tara. And you guys, and she's a triple diamond. And a few months ago, she went through a really crazy time where there were like people who she just never ever thought was leaving left. And she was just like very still and like, what the heck is going on? And last month, she promoted her husband to double diamond. She's got people popping up, the most incredible, amazing human beings. And I messaged her and I'm like, dude, I'm so excited for you. Like, I'm just so excited for you. And I know you just feel so good and just so powerful right now. And she said, you know, it's funny when I go back and look at the things that have like led me like this whole path. She said, what I realized was that me being fearful of like what the next step was, presidential. She's like, I always thought, who am I to think that I'm capable of that? Who am I to think that, like, I compare myself to all these other people that are where I want to be. It was like when I was looking at ambassador, you guys, there were 30 ambassador diamonds. Unicorns went ambassador. That was not like a thing. I was fine with presidential, right? Mel was one of those unicorns. And I was okay with presidential because people like me didn't do, like, I could do big things, but people like me didn't do like big things, like big, important, real things. Like, I cannot fill those shoes. And she said the exact same thing. And she said, but what I realized looking back was every time I told myself that like, I'm not worthy of like being more, I didn't realize that I was also saying that my team was not worthy of being more. Because what you guys have to understand is that when you go diamond, this isn't just about you going diamond. You have 2 human beings, right, on your top line. One of them making about $800 a month as an emerald and one being a ruby. And that emerald has 2 rubies underneath them. That means that there is someone just like you who wants nothing more but to buy diapers for their kids every single month and pay off debt. There's a woman who can't get out of her relationship because she has an abusive spouse and she doesn't have a way to make extra money. There's a college student who can barely even afford to like feed herself every day. There's someone who's literally drowning in so much debt, they're afraid of looking in their mailbox, and you keeping yourself going ruby or going diamond because you're too afraid of what that might look like and that you're not enough. You are now telling these people who pray for this every day, who joined you or joined the person who joined you or whatever, you're telling them that they're not good enough. And you would think, well, no, of course they're good enough. Of course they can do it. I think they can do anything, but me, I cannot fill those shoes. Again, this is not about you. This is about the trail that you are blazing for everybody else. When Tara said yes to just believing that she could be more, and she said, well, like, maybe I can't like believe that I can be presidential, but I can believe that this girl can be triple. Like, she needs that for her family. I'm triple. I know what that does. I know what that means. She deserves that. I know what double diamond means. Like, I know what that can do. I've been there. She deserves that. So if I can't believe it for myself, I can believe it for them, and I'm going to do it for them. Right? So what you guys got to do at this point in time now, it's almost been 6 years. I started at the end of 2013. And when I was in January of 2014, I was a Ruby. And when November hit, I was a presidential. So in less than 1 year's time, I went from Ruby to presidential, and I didn't know how, but I did it because I just kind of saw someone else. I saw Shelby Bowman, who actually just went ambassador. It's just so freaking crazy. I'm so excited for her. But I saw someone else that I related to in any way that I possibly could. And I saw someone else that, you know, I could just relate to in any way when I first started. And that was Shelby. And I saw she was young. I was young. I was 22, I think, when I started this business. I'm going to be 30 this year. Ugh, it's really weird to say. I'm taking myself a little bit off. Anyways, she was young. She had kids, and she was a presidential. And I said, well, crap. Like, if this girl can do it, then I can do it. And what I realized from that experience and just knowing how powerful it is, like how I looked at Shelby, and other than that, we did not have anything in common. But from looking at her and seeing how I like saw myself, just pieces of myself in her, and how capable she made me feel because she blazed the trail for me. You know what I mean? That you guys need to just make it your like everlasting goal to just find whoever you are in this world and help them know that there's more. I think about myself as a kid when I was very lonely and very afraid, went through some really crazy stuff. And I felt like I was the only person on earth that ever lived through those things, right? Because again, like fear tells us that we're alone. Fear tells us that we're alone on an island, give up. The enemy wants you to feel like that. That's not good. Like that is not love. That's you. Something's trying to make you feel like that on purpose, because when you feel lonely and alone, you start to get selfish. And again, you close your gates, totally Frozen style, gates closed. No one's having fun. No one's living life. No one's happy, nothing. And when I came into this business, and I will never forget the first time that I like put on my big girl panties and like sucked it up and told people that I was hanging up sheets in my living room to keep the heat in. Levi and I were sleeping in the living room while Will was at work. And we were like just trying to keep warm with like the fireplace because we couldn't afford the electric. And two people messaged me and they said, I've done that. And I was like, what? What do you mean? I thought I was the only human on earth that's ever struggled. What are you talking about? And it blew my mind. And it was in that moment that I realized how foolish and stupid and selfish it was to, number one, think that I was the only person out of our whole entire company that's ever struggled the way that I've struggled. And then I realized how even more dumb it was for me to think that I was the only person out of the 7 billion people on earth to go through the things that I've gone through. You're very dumb to think that you're the only person that's dealt with cancer. It's just straight up dumb. And so many people say, but it sucked and it hurt and it was terrible. Well, you have two choices. You can like sit here and wallow in self-pity and act like life happened to you, or you can decide it happened for you. And the only way that you waste and you fail and you waste this journey that you've been on is if you decide not to share your journey with other people, and not to look back and say, okay, that sucked. That was not fun. What can I learn from this? As long as you look back, I did this really awesome podcast, right? And I like uploaded doing a podcast has been like on my heart now for 2 years. And again, like fear has kept me from doing it. I actually did like 3 episodes and then I stopped because I was like, who am I to do this? Like, I'm not Denise Walsh. Like I've got no college education and stuff. Like, why the hell would anybody want to listen to me? And then it's funny because you guys are going to die. The first one I like record, I was like in my yard chasing Lennox. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to look fear in the face and I'm just going to do it. And then guess what? It had no sound. 0 sound. Isn't that something? And I was like, you ain't going to keep me quiet. I'm on fire now. I'm fearless. I'm going to walk into this. What? Go lay down. Go to bed. No, go to bed. Nope, you're fine. Go to bed. Love you. Love you. Go to bed. Give me a kiss. Go to bed. Go. Good night. Take your sweatshirt off if you're hot. Go to bed. Towards your bed. Go pee if you need to. Okay. So this is what I said on my podcast. Everybody feels sorry for themselves all the time. Good night. And it really annoys me because, like, I am one of those people that have been through a lot of life, as have Mel. And sometimes it boggles our mind when we kind of just think to ourselves, why are you sitting here feeling sorry for yourself? Like, there's just so much more life to live. And if you don't, like, get this together, you're literally going to waste it because other people would love to take the life that you have. Other people would love that. There are people who would love to just be able to have what you have right now, even though you think you have nothing. And I told my team, I ended up just going live on my team page, but if you look at March, what, honey? Let's see. I will give you the boobies. I'll give you the boobies. Come on. Come on.
So Jade, I love what you're saying here. I mean, you are speaking to every single one of us. You know, that's the thing. It's the real heart of who you are. And you know what, that gives people so much hope because they can relate to you and they can identify with what you're saying. And you know, anytime that you can relate like that to the masses, which you do, you relate to the masses, not just to a small group of people. You relate to the masses. That's why everybody loves you so much. You are encouraging them by just being who you are, always. And so that's why you are so loved. And look how the devil tried to squash you and keep you from doing that.
Well, you know? That's, I think, what I realized, and again, it was one of those things, fear telling me, like, who am I to think what I have to say is important? Growing up, people told me to shut my mouth, stop talking, you're too loud, you think weird. So many people told me how, like, the way that I thought and how goofy I was and all of these things. So I was just so afraid to be. How many of you guys have felt that way? You know, we spend so much of our lives just trying to fit in so we feel accepted. And it was it still blows my mind every time I'm around Mark and Cindy and Pam, and they're just like, we love who you are. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, they'd never once ever tried to change me. I even sometimes swear in front of Cindy and she just kind of winks, squeezes one eye, but she just knows that that's just the essence of who I am. But when we were at the top 20 retreat and I was talking to Mark and I was just telling him, like, at that time, I did not feel, again, like, success is a state of being, guys. So, like, I just didn't feel like I deserved to be there. I just didn't. I'm like, oh, like, I just don't feel it right now, guys. Like, this is just so, it's humbling, and you just ask yourself constantly, like, how in the hell does someone like me get here? Like, this just does not make sense. And I remember talking to Mark, and we were just talking about goals in life and the things that we want to do and who we want to be. And he looked at me and he said, you and I were made from the same cloth. And I was like, what? Like, did anybody hear this? Like, what is happening right now? What? And, like, to just probably one of the greatest gifts he could ever give me is to just tell me that. I mean, and maybe you guys don't understand how, like, what that means, but I mean, just in that moment, it was just like a permission to go big, permission to be me. And now how much I know Mark, and I've been in his home, and I've been around his family. I've been in all of his homes now, I think, minus maybe his, like, 20 most of the time home, but his other homes I've been there, and I see his family, and I see what they've done, and I see who they are, And just for me, I'm someone that just has never felt like I had a family. So for someone like him to say that to me was just like incredible. I mean, I just so incredible. So I want you guys to know that you do too. I mean, you come from that exact same cloth. That's why you're here. So I pretty much, you know, the only thing I can tell you guys tonight is to just stop caring, stop overthinking, stop worrying every single time. Like, you're letting so much keep you from so much, and none of it matters, you know. And every single time you're afraid to message someone because you're afraid of what they're gonna say, you're afraid of doing something because you're afraid, oh my gosh, I don't want to message them. What if I offend them? Are you trying to be a jerk? No. People know your posture, know who you are, know what you're trying to do, know what your mission is, know who you're trying to become. Because if that's the place that you come from, you're not going to come off any which way. Stop being afraid to go up to someone when, you know, if you're at hockey with your family or your kids are playing football, go give someone a compliment. Just be that like beacon of light. The world is like a dark place, and we are doing like crazy, amazing things. Income gives you options. This isn't for the love of money. It's for the love of like what it can do for you. And the thing, it just opens that up for you. And if you guys will just start walking into the desires that are on your heart, and you figure out what it is that you want. Okay. Write down why you want it. Then write down all the funky feelings that come after you write down why you want it. Well, like, who am I? And but like, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And then write down, who made you think this way? What has happened in your life that has made you feel this way? And the things that you wrote down, are those truthful? People tell me my own family tells me I'm selfish, that I'm in over my head. There's still people, I told very important people to me this year when they said, how'd conference go? Because they knew I watched it. And I was like, yeah, cool. We had like 20 something girls in the top 100. It was just amazing. And they said, yeah, what number were you? And I said 3. And they went, oh, you know what I mean? But like, I'm not living for them. I'm not trying to prove myself to them. I don't need to prove myself to anybody. I know what I'm doing every day. I know why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? It's not for like fame or anything. It's just for me, and to just find the other people like me in the world. And that's your job. You're going to change someone's life. And maybe you're going to change the world. Maybe someone you enroll is going to change the world. You have such like a big role to play here. And then the beautiful part is that we can make like a hell of a lot of money when we're doing it. And you can go to Disney for a month, and you can have fun, and you can live in big, beautiful houses and show all these people who are on your teams the things that are possible and that you're capable of. You just got to decide to do that. And now is the time. We have huge, I was like, wow, like this is really crazy. My team's almost sold $3 million in product in 1 month, and we're on a run. And this is the like month 1 of the run. So like, what does that look like? Mind boggling. Like,
yeah.
What is happening? I don't even know. I don't know what this looks like. I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is that it's good and that I am here for it. I am walking right into that fearfully. You know what I mean? Just walking right into that fire. We're just going to go.
That's awesome. You know, you saying doing almost 3 million a month. That's where I'm at as well, you know, and you look at what other big companies or whatever, you know, like big car dealerships and all, they're lucky if they do 1 million in sales in a year.
Yeah.
In a year. And we have got this powerful business vehicle that takes somebody that is like me, that's like Jade, that's like you guys, that is just, you know, humble beginnings, most of us, you know, and can give us a powerful business vehicle that can generate that kind of volume and to make the kind of money that we can make. You guys, you know, we make more than most professionals, doctors, lawyers, And they don't have any time. We have time. We have time freedom to go along with the income. That is worth getting out of your comfort zone for. That is so worth facing your fear. To be able to have that in the palm of your hands, to say, all I got to do is do it, right? Just do it. So, wow, Jade. All right, so I promised her I was not going to take a lot of her time. We've already gone 33 minutes on this. So have you got one last thought that you want to leave us with before we say goodnight?
Yep. So I want to leave you guys with my motto for the year. Well, two, I guess. So my thing for this year, what I've realized is that I will continue to grow and be successful as long as I continue to be willing. It's all about willingness. That is the secret to it all. Willing to grow, willing to keep going. Mel's where she is because she's just willing. That's it. There's no limits. She's willing. And every single time, you guys, that fear creeps up and you start to do the feeling sorry for yourself. Who am I to have this? Who am I to think that I can be diamond? Who am I to think that I can be presidential? Who am I to think that I can be dumb? Who am I to think that these people want to join my team? I want you to say to yourself, why the hell not? Why not? I don't know. Why not me?
That's right.
Why not? There's no reason. Just why not? Every single time I try to talk myself out of something, because I try to be practical, like practical people suck, guys. Practical people are miserable and broke. That's what practicalness does for you. Just why not? So next time you try to talk yourself out of something and you start to tell yourself all the reasons why you can't do it, instead just tell yourself why not, and just go for it. Because I promise you, all those chances that you take are going to lead you. That's literally all we do. That's literally all we do. When Mel sits there and she's eating and she sees someone and she just gets that itch, like I could talk to them and, well, this person could say this, they could say that, they could say all these things. Who am I to think, well, why would they want to talk to me? But she says, like, why not? I don't know. Let's just try it. Let's go. And then what you realize is that, again, I'm not going to die. I didn't die when I talked to someone. I didn't die when I posted about something. I'm good. I'm living. Yeah. And then you become fearless because you realize there's literally nothing to fear. There's just nothing to fear.
That's right. That's it. That is so good. You know, when you say, who am I always tell myself, I'm a child of the King. And he wants us to live life abundantly. And he wants us to have more in life and to be, I mean, he made us for so much more. And I'm not just talking about the money, but, you know, there is so much more to life than just working a job and struggling to put food on the table and not being able to go, do, have, be, whatever it is, and, you know, things that you would want to do for your children, and always wondering where the next bit of money is going to come from so you can pay your electric bill or whatever. That is not what we were created for. We were created to be able to live life and to live it abundantly according to the word of God. So when you think, who am I? Then you better start thinking, well, I am a child of the King. I am his daughter, or I'm his son. And know that the minute you start bashing yourself, you are bashing the Father as well. So don't ever forget that. Don't ever forget it. Jade, you're amazing. I love you so much. Thank you so much for just pouring into this group. And you guys, I'm so proud of you for being on this Zoom, for earning the right to be on this Zoom. And Jade, thank you. Thank you for taking the time. I love you so much. You know I love you. You know I do.
Yep. It is equal. It is so equal.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank y'all so much.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Nice to meet you.